Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Map Making with Sparks. We are on the Mineathon server today, as we have been for quite some time, and I'm desperately rushing around trying to get my map done. It's only 2 weeks until Mineathon starts. We have these new speed blocks that if you hold them in your hand you get like hyper speed, which is fantastic. And we're working some more on Block Hunt today. Yay! I have been very busy on this, and I have done a load of stuff. And if you go through there with speed, it hurts. So, let's just try this a second. I'm going to not join that game yet, but I'll show you what I've done, because when I join it, it's going to give us a waiting for players message, and it's kind of annoying. So first of all, the most important thing that I've done over here is that I replaced the stone with red wool, so it hurts my eyes less, because that was annoying. But what I have been doing is the game joining logic, which is all of these stripes of stuff down here. These are all repeated. There's 4, 1 per map. Actually, speaking about map, we now have a builder who's working on a map. So I don't know whether there's going to be 1 or 4. There may just be 1. But I'm going to keep working on it as if there were 4. Because it would be nice to have 4. And if we don't, well, we can do something bigger with more stuff next year, but I definitely don't have time to build a map as well as program 1. So anyway, these are the the timers for starting the game. So this block here is testing for 1-to-1 players on map 1. Now normally this would be 1-to-12, which means that 1-to-11, which means that there aren't enough players. The game can start when there are 12 players or more. It's 12 to 24 players, which is how the original game works. Currently I've got it set to 1-to-1 player, and I've got it so that the game starts when there are 2 to 24 players. Just so that it's easier to test, because I don't have that many people around. We have beta the data on. He's British, that's how you pronounce it. Beta the data, but I think it's supposed to be beta the data. Wait, is it? I'm getting my Americanisms confused. We say beta, right? We do say beta in England, so it's beta the data. But anyway, he's online, so we can potentially use him as a testing guinea pig. I have already once. So we've kind of got two stripes here. This is a kind of clock which I've used a few times. If I remove that torch, you'll see that basically that repeater is missing because of the way this works. So you can see it basically just goes around and around. It's sort of a one wide repeater clock, which is kind of cool. And every time it goes around, it basically just triggers these command blocks here, which cause a message to appear for all of the people in area 1. And the message basically just says waiting for players, and it'll keep doing that until this range is exceeded. So in this case, when a second player joins, it'll stop. And this one over here tests for when the game is ready and starts a timer for that. So 2 to 24 players is going to set this off. It sets off these 3 command blocks here. One of them is underneath, you can't see it, and this is basically just says map starting shortly in green text. And I'll demonstrate all of this in a second. And then it summons an item in these cobwebs. We're actually using a cobweb clock. I think I'm going slightly mad with the amount of old and new methods I'm using, but that's kind of fun, isn't it? So it summons an item in this cobweb, and once the item flows all the way down to the pressure plate, it starts the game. It sets the game status to 1, which means the game is in session, which sets the map at the spawn area to say game in session. It sets everybody to have it makes everybody join the blocks team so that they're a block, and then it chooses a random person. Chooses a random person from the blocks team and sets their team to seeker instead. So it chooses a random person to be a seeker, basically. On top of that, as well as this just stopping when the thing exceeds, hang on. Oh yes. When sorry, when this exceeds players 1-to-1, as well as just turning on this turning on this torch and stopping this repeater clock, so that if there's any residual current running through this clock that powers the waiting for players, we actually the torch turns on and that sets this block here to air, which stops it from continuing to send this message. Otherwise, the waiting for game starting shortly message is overwritten by the waiting for players. And then when this detects players within this range again, which means that it's waiting for players, it sets that block back to an unpowered repeater, allowing the clock cycle to work. And that's pretty good. That's all good. Let's try it out. I'll show you it working. I've also got it setting a random potion score when you join, so that if you don't drink any of the potions you're given, it will choose a potion randomly for you, a block type for you. Sidebar AGS potions drunk. So currently nobody has a potion drunk score. When I join this game, I get a score of 1 in this case, and I get a message saying waiting for players. And you can see this clock is now running, so it's just going round and round and round. And if we can get Beta to maybe join the game again. Maybe join the game again. He has to join it properly through the portal. And if he's free, when he joins, there he is. Okay, he's going to join it. So now we'll see that this repeater vanishes when he joins the game. There we go. And we get a map starting shortly message. Beta has also been given a random potion score of 1. If I join the game again, I might get a different score. And you can see that the item has been summoned in here, the map start item. And when it drops onto the pressure plate, the game starts. So I'm now a block. And I can technically drink one of these, but these will be cleared from the inventory, so I can be a different block type. And then, what? Just, I think he accidentally set my score as well as his there. I think that was him, right? Beta set the server logout score for Sparks to 1. Yeah, he must have accidentally picked me up there. The game is now in session, and there's an error on my map at the moment. I did something wrong with my tell raw, so the line which tells you how many players for the game in session map is broken. I need to fix that. I hate tell raw. I really do. It's not. I mean, it's really useful. It's just not very intuitive. So that game is currently in session. There's a bug at the moment where signs do not update. So if I do scoreboard players set map 1, there's a lot of objectives. AGS game status 0. They do sometimes update, so that did work this time. Sometimes it just says that it's in session when it isn't. I hope they fix that before Mineathon happens. In fact, I'm also desperately hoping that 1.8 comes out by Mineathon, because it's only 2 weeks. They are in the bug fixing stage, but we thought they'd be done by now. I wonder. Just curious. No. The button doesn't stay on there. Okay. Yeah, that's basically what I've done. The other thing is, if this is true and there are 2 to 24 players and the game starting shortly thing happens and the item is summoned and then somebody leaves the game, there are no longer, in the end, 12 to 24 players. There'd be 11 or more, which would turn this timer back on because it falls within this range, and it will also kill all entities within 10 blocks with the name map1 start. So it basically can, if somebody leaves the game and there's no longer enough people to start the game, this timer will actually delete the map1 start block. So that's great. So what we need to do now for this episode is, once the game starts, the the blocks need to be teleported to one location, and the seeker needs to be teleported to another location, maps pending. And then we need to set a timer so that the seeker can't leave the room for a certain amount of time. And we need to detect when there are no more blocks or no more seekers, and that will end the game. Like, if there are no more seekers, the blocks, that basically means all the seekers have left the game. They've logged out or crashed or whatever. It's sort of more of a failsafe. If there are only blocks, the blocks win the game. However, in a more legitimate sense, if there are no more blocks, there are only seekers, the seekers win because all the blocks have been found. And if the timer runs out, we're going to have to set a timer for the game as well. If the timer runs out, then the blocks win because not all the blocks were found. So that's how that's going to work, and that's what we're going to be doing this episode. I'm probably going to do most of it off camera because I'm basically just working frantically on this because I'm going to Insomnia on the weekend and I have a full-time job, so there's very, very little time. It's Sunday today, which means it's one of my last days to really sit down and do anything before Insomnia. And I'm back. It's several hours later, quite late at night, and I'm pretty tired. But we've got the game ending logic done. I've done one piece. Spiderrobotman helped me a lot with some of the logic for it. So, quickly going to go over what happens. So, when the item drops down onto this pressure plate, which I think I've shown happening, fairly sure. It, as well as, locking the game and stuff, it... What does this do? I don't remember. Fill something. This thing, up here. That. It puts stone right here. Sorry, when the game is running, this thing here detects it. It works out that there is... the game is running, the map 1 game is running, and it starts this clock. And this clock is basically just doing one of these fill clocky things with this red wool here. And that's doing some things. So first, there's basically 3 things that can happen to end a game. The first is that all the blocks are found and killed and turn into seekers, in which case there are no more blocks and the seekers win. The second is that the time runs out and the game ends and the blocks win. And the third is sort of more of a error catching thing. If the seeker logs out at the beginning of the game and there are no seekers left, then the blocks win. So that's 3 conditions. No seekers, no blocks, and time runs out. So this is basically the three conditional things. So let's start with the timer. So when this clock starts, it checks for people in that game. And it powers this, which summons an item with the custom name of Timer1 at the top of this cobweb thing. We can make this as tall as we like. I think it's probably about a 2-minute game at the moment. I probably will make it longer. And when this comparator turns off, this torch will turn back on, and that kills the item. So if the game ends, if all the blocks are found and killed before the timer runs down, this command block will remove the item from the timer so that it doesn't eventually fall down and end a game early. And when a game ends, we get some click sounds. It basically goes click. Oh, these should all be 4 ticks. That one's fine. 1, 2. Oh, no, the rest are fine. Okay, basically it goes click, 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 and then it sets all the people in that game's area score to 101, which is the score I've decided to use for people who need to be teleported back to the hub. And it also announces to everybody on the lobby team that blocks just won a game of Block Hunt. So everybody in the lobby, the actual main Mineathon lobby, will see that. And down here, we also announce it to everybody with an area score of 101. So that way, both people who are taking part in the game and people in the lobby see that message. And then it connects up to this redstone, and after a short delay, it basically unlocks the game, so it sets the game status back to 0 so people can right click on the sign and join again. And then after a short delay, it basically fills this with air, I think, was it? This is the bit that Spider did. Okay, that sets the success count of these comparators off because of it was being horrible and mean to me. And that does the same thing for the other one. And then down here, this sets people's server logout score. If they have a score of 101, it sets their server logout score to 1, which basically teleports them back to the hub. If the if there are no blocks left, then this comparator turns on. So this is testing for map 1 blocks with a range of 0 to 0. So if there are no blocks left, this comparator turns on. And this is the problem I was having. If there is nobody in the game, there are technically no blocks. So this comparator is turning on early and ending the game the second you joined it. So that's why there's nothing here. But when the game starts, there will be blocks there. And these can go, actually. They were just me putting them on the side. So this basically sets the success count of this comparator back to 0. So they flicker. And this set blocks an unpowered comparator. Oh, this is Spider again. See that's setting this comparator here to unpowered. We have this really weird thing where currently when this runs, the comparator blinks on and off because this success count works. Turns on the comparator. This sets the success count of the block back to blank, and then that turns it off, but then it tests again, it turns on. The weirdest thing happened. We left the area, we came back, this clock was off, it was completely stopped. I could break these wall blocks and everything, and the comparators were continuing to flicker. It was very strange. Oh yeah, I forgot about the randomizer. I couldn't build it because it's in the spawn chunks. Spider was doing it. Okay, so if there are no blocks, that means the Seekers win. So, first of all, we set everybody's area score to 101. That happens for both of them. So this separate line here, which is testing for no Seekers, will power that command block as well. And then we'll give a success message. Either the Seekers just won a game of block hunt, or the blocks just won a game of block hunt. And then after that, they basically connect up to this reset thing again. So that's how that works. We can probably show it, actually, if Spider's willing to help demonstrate it, because we need 2 people. I've also got it so that when you join the game, it gives you a random block type. So that if you don't drink a potion, if you don't choose which block you want to be, you'll become a random one. And it also chooses a random person to be the Seeker, which I think I did show before. So we'll just go over that with Spider. There's Spider. Okay, wait for him to see us. Go ahead. Go ahead. So he's clicked on that sign. If I F3A, there we go, 1 out of 24, the signs don't update, it's really annoying. If I join, map's starting shortly, fantastic. We're going to go over here and have a look now. So we've got the map 1 start items slowly flowing down onto that pressure plate. Currently this clock is off, and once that item drops, we will see some things happen. So the clock's going to start, that clock there. There we go, on the block, the map 1 timer items appeared up there. So Spider has been chosen randomly of the 2 of us to be the Seeker. That's good. And if Spider leaves the game, then we should see one of these 2 lines flicker. Yeah, there we go. The blocks just won the game, and then it teleports me back. And that's basically how it works. Thanks. So yeah, whoo. Spent the whole day on that. It's horrible, horrible. But it's working. I have to go to sleep now, but it's quite late. It's actually not that late. I'm just really tired. So yeah, that's that working fantastic. So it's really just we've got the joining of the game and the ending of the game done. I think that's quite an achievement. There's quite a bit more redstone now. It's just the actual game left. There's a couple of things. We need to teleport the seeker to a start position. We need to detect when people die and turn them into seekers. We need to do the whole damage translation thing and give them swords after a certain amount of time and everything. Still, Mineathon is in 2 weeks. We've got to get this done, though. We'll get it done. We will. I'll manage to do it somehow. I'll find a way. And obviously, you guys have really helped with the making of this map so far. Great suggestions and comments, and just generally the support encourages me to keep working on it. So I'm glad I recorded it. And thank you very much, as always, for watching. The next episode will probably be out fairly soon at the pace I'm working on this. I have work tomorrow, but when I'm back, I will be working on this awesome admin stuff for Mineathon, which tends to happen quite a lot as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.